Hello. In my previous video on Introduction to Python Idle, I showed you some simple text instructions you could write within Python, such as not particularly useful at this point, but at least it shows you some of the simple stuff you can do within Python. You may have noticed that these instructions were written one line at a time, and then Python acted on those instructions straight away. This is useful only for very limited scenarios, but for more complex scenarios where we want to be able to string together a few more instructions in order to do something a bit better than this, the Python shell is going to be insufficient. So what we need to do is we need to hit File and go to New File and create a file window. Now I'm going to leave the shell open because when I run the file which I write in this window here, the output from that is going to appear within the shell here. So let's start creating a simple Python script. Now what I suggest that you do is, whilst you're watching this, you pause the video at various points. I'll try and pause so that you can see how it's going, and then you go and practice in your own idle, which you should have open on your desktop. So the first thing which we're going to do is we're going to set up a variable called name, and we're going to assign it to an input where we are going to ask a question: what is your name? I suggest you put that space in before that final quote. Now what this means is that when we run it, the shell's going to ask you that question and give you an opportunity to type something in, and whatever you type in, the value of that is going to be assigned to the variable name called name. Let's set up another variable called age, and this time we're going to set it to int input what is your age. Now this time, as you can see, we have got two open brackets, so I close it once and I'll close it a second time, and that ensures that the brackets are closed properly. Now the difference between this one and the previous one is that we now have this here, int. Now what that basically does is that says whatever the person inputs here in answer to this question must be stored as an integer, which is a whole number. I then write a print command, which is going to say hi name. On your next birthday, you will be, and this time we're going to take the variable age, which should have an integer value assigned to it, and we're going to add 1 to it, and we'll finish off the print command. Now when we made a mistake, as you will see, when you're writing Python, occasionally mistakes may happen. Now the mistake I made was that I started off what's called a string, which is a piece of text, and I forgot to close it with a quote. So I close it, close a bracket, and then I hit enter, and it's not going to complain at me. We now need to save this. So I'm going to save it as file, save, pop it on the desktop for now, and I'm going to call it ask name age.py, and I'll hit save. Once I save it, I can now run it. So I hit run module. And as you can see, in the shell, it's now produced the output from the Python script. So I'm going to say my name is Mr. Sharland. My current age is 39. And the computer is going to very happily tell me that on my next birthday I'm going to be 40 years old. What I'd like you to do now is using this example of the script, try copy it out yourself. What you could also do is try to see if you can ask some different questions and set up a print command which produces a slightly different response, but which uses the variables which you set up in line 1 and line 2. Good luck.